Lightning. Alice Davison Richards with a wicket in her first over, that of Harmer, caught by Bryony Smith at slip. What can she produce in this over? Sarah Bryce will be on strike, as then over the wicket comes Alice Davison Richards, gone short again, and that has been pulled fearfully over the top of Kalia Moore. That was hammered by, but I think what we have worked out is that Bryce can play the short ball, because that one absolutely hammered that over Kalia Moore. Kalia Moore sort of jumped as it had gone past her. She's taken a few steps back now. I think that's probably Davison Richards going to bowl short again. All blows, but it sounds like it's coming in here. Alice Davison Richards goes fuller of length, and Sarah Bryce this time just pushes off the front foot out into the offside, and there's no run. But again, you would have heard the noise of that coming off the middle of Bryce's bat, and just with Alice Davison Richards' first over, first ball short, Bryce pulled for 4, second ball pulled for a single, but then got Harmer with the short ball. I would like this bat though, it does sound absolutely lovely. Gorgeous bat. Davison Richards over the wicket, opening the face, guiding it off for a single is Sarah Bryce. She'll move on to 35, and Lightning moving on to 55 for 1. So they're ticking along. In the 8th over, at the end of the 8th over, the South East Stars were 37 for 1. So they're ticking along nicely. At the moment, Lightning.
The other indicated DLS pass scores 46, and they're well ahead of that on a bit of rain potentially around.
Alice Davison Richards is into Catherine Bryce, who's forward and playing this one down to Ailish Cranston, who comes around to her left at backward point to do the furling. And there is no run. I think the hog roast. Oh no, it's still doing a bit of trade, I think, at the moment down there at the hog roast. Once again, there's Catherine Bryce on 1. Alice Davison Richards is into her, and she's driving, and it beats the edge of the bat. It's taken low down by Chatley, nicely bowled by Alice Davison Richards.
Just a couple of notes haven't quite flown through. Grace Gibbs been getting them to fly through from this end, but potentially take another step up if I was the keeper from that far end at the moment with Davison Richardson bowling.
My manual scoring's going very well this time round. In over the wicket once again comes Alice Davison Richards. Catherine Bryce will get runs. And down it goes to Danny Gregory. And they'll pick up another single on to 56 for 1 they go. Catherine Bryce moves on to 2. Sarah Bryce has 37. 8 overs gone. And 6 off that over. 56 for 1. Lightning lead 294.
If you change your style or tactic at all, it's just, I think you've got to swing with it now. Change a pen.
Change a pen.
Change a ball.
I can, but my italic pen's lovely, but I can't actually read most of what I've written down. But the old biro is quite a good one. How many times do you have to mow that pitch?
Through the hedge, trying to look out the back of the house.
He's in the marquee.
Chris Gibbs comes in again from down in, tries to sort of drive that pad off stop and misses the ball. It's like Catherine Bryce on strike from this end. Every time I've got to look and try to work out the number, I've still not worked out whether it's Catherine's 8 or 17 or Sarah's 8 or 17. Sarah Bryce is number 8, Catherine Bryce is number 17.
That's it. Yeah.
Grace Gibbs comes in again. Just that good length ball, just driven into the offside. No run.
Again, the quicker bowlers, just pace off seems to be the way forward. Very interesting that we have seen Alice Davison Richards just bang a couple in, and it brought the wicket as well. So it's been a good game this so far.
Shaping up very nicely at the moment. That's outside off stump again. That was a bit of pace off as well. That bounced on the way through to Chatley.
Yeah, it looks like Sarah Bryce is in terrific nick. She's played a couple of gorgeous shots so far. The pulls look spectacular, but it was those couple of drives as well were lovely, weren't they?
The cut drive sort of checked a little bit. Yeah,
gorgeous shots.
How do they do with Scotland? I can tell you after this ball that here comes Grace Gibbs again. Full down leg side, and that's another wide for Grace Gibbs. In the regional ICC World Cup qualifying thing that we had, which one am I on now? Catherine Bryce threw 46 not out against Ireland. Didn't bat, but got 2 for 5 and got 2 against France. I think that was in a quite small chase. Coming again, that's back of the length. That's worked. That's really well worked. Just behind point, should get forward. Danny Graham's putting in a lot of effort to get across and doesn't quite get there. But that was just leaned on. That was just leaned on just behind point and just ran away. While Sarah Bryce, 46, 5, 23 not out and 9.
What competition was that?
The long-winded one, which I can't remember what it was.
You finished that competition with the word thingy. I'm not unsure of the official.
I think that is what the ICC call it, the thingy event. Yeah. The ICC Women's T20 World Cup Europe. That's worked on the left side. Start again. ICC Women's T20 World Cup Europe Regional Qualifier. That's why I can't remember it.
Absolutely. I didn't realise it was quite a thing.
It was much easier.
than that.
Scotland won that, won all 4 of their games. Ireland came second. Netherlands, Germany, France winless. A few quite inexperienced players. That's driven down the ground. No run. Another team were meant to play but pulled out. I can't remember who it was. It's got someone on there. It might be someone like Croatia, someone slightly odd. It might be on the cricket. Turkey pulled out of Europe qualifiers because it did not have the necessary approval and travel documentation required. Tournament was played in La Manga.
Lovely. Very nice La Manga.
Must have been sort of trying to hide away from all the football teams in their pre-season friendlies.
Yes, absolutely.
They do love a La Manga.
Yes, everyone likes a trip to La Manga. So, 10th over, 63 for 1. Lightning. As Davison Richards coming over the wicket to serve. Another short one, but she's taking all the pace out of this. It's going to be signalled wide, though, I think. Umpire Mandy. Yes, it is. So, that'll be one more to the total. We've had a few wide so far in this Lightning reply.
The other thing I've noticed, we didn't mention earlier, the black armbands. I can see the South East Stars players wearing black armbands. I would imagine the Upper Lightning players will be as well.
This is pulled, leg side by Sarah Bryce. Will get a single. One more to her. She'll move on to 38-65 for 1.
They are for Natasha Marissa, who's the Hampshire women's captain. In about 2016, I think she played up until 2009, 2016, but died of breast cancer this week. Also very, very sad news.
Davison Richards in. Wow. Catherine Bryce has lent on that, and that has whistled away through the covers for 4. Well, at the moment, Lightning are absolutely flying here. 69 now for 1 in the 10th over. So where they need to be in terms of runs. That's Mark Sandwich getting ready there. Oh, he's had his sandwich already, I think.
He's going into the pasta box.
Oh, yeah, lovely. The pasta box. Very nice those. Very clever.
They look after well.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. As in over the wicket again comes Davison Richards. Another short one, and Catherine Bryce has just waited for this, opened the face, guided off behind square on the offside. Danny Gregory has to come round to do the third. That'll be 2 more to the total. Here comes the mower, 71. It's like Jules this, 71 for 1. 2 more to Catherine Bryce, 2 more to the total. Davison Richards tosses herself a couple of catches and comes charging in once more over the wicket, and Catherine Bryce covers up, pushes this length delivery out into the offside, and there is no run.
Moore's post-match interviews, how many times?
Last week at Wantage Road. Well, if you watched the first 2 days at Wantage Road last week, the first one I thought we were going to lose Jamie Smith. because all you could see was the lawnmower coming towards him. And the second one, he drove round us. As in over the wicket comes Davison Richards again, and forward goes Catherine Bryce, plays this one down to backward point, and there is no run.
There's a gentleman who does the mower at Chelmsford. He's a very nice fellow. I've chatted to him before. He's a nice guy. But you might wait for sort of like 20 minutes, half an hour for a player, so that he won't mow the lawn. He sort of stands around, looks around. As soon as the player comes out,
yeah.
And yes,
Davison Richards is in. Short one again. Well, she's a bit late on that, Catherine Bryce, and it just ballooned into the leg side, and Bryony Smith came round to do the furling. Ended it over, so that's 10 gone. 71 for 1. The Lightning, I think they'll be very happy with this start. The Lightning, Catherine Bryce 12, Sarah Bryce 38, and now the captain Bryony Smith coming into the attack.
Yeah, it does feel like a bit of spin time, doesn't it? Well, I'm not against the Davison Richardson short pitch. I think that we saw earlier on that bowling just full of a length, getting that little bit of pop was what was working then. And obviously it's got the wicket of Harmer early on, but I think Grace Gibbs was going particularly well at the other end. Just with the wide balls, we sort of at this stage where they're scoring runs freely, can't really afford them. Bring them back later. Here's Bryony Smith with her off spin, right arm spin. That's just on the back foot and pulled into the leg side. No, just the one run. Bryony Smith, let's have a look at her record in this tournament with the ball. You probably got it to hand, and I'm about to click on it, and you're going to tell me to say click on.
3 for 47 against the Sunrisers.
Yes, she did. She got very well then. Here, that's just really blocked into the second highest wicket take at the moment. Behind,
I make it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It is 7 wickets. 7 for 146 runs. Oh, here we go. This is what we saw earlier from Von Graves and Kirsty Gordon. It's that bounce off that length. Can't got you on the live stream yet with that turn, but it probably did. Yeah, that's just worked fine leg. Yeah, only Tash Barron has got more wickets with her 9 in this competition with the Stars. That's the great Tash Barron.
She's a pretty good sort of 12 months, isn't she?
I think she had a couple of years and been very unlucky. That's worked just behind to fine leg as well. She was leading wicket taker for the best team in the KSL for years and years down at Southern Vipers. But they sort of Katie George with her left arm, that was slightly quicker maybe, and sort of like that, but sort of Katie George's injuries have opened the door up. And obviously looking at a couple of the players that stayed behind, and they'll just get the one again.
Nice over that.
That is the end of that. Went through that like rocket.
Yeah, but only a couple of runs as well off it, so I think we've got a bit of hand sanitisation going on.
I'm just going to pop to the wicket.
Off you go, my friend, yes. So, a bit of hand sanitisation going on out there in the middle. We're getting a bit of Danny Gregory from this football ground training in. She seems to be marching quite purposefully towards the stumps. Danny Gregory, yes we are. So, Danny Gregory is coming into the attack. That's his cake box, Mark, away to our right. Just noticed he's come out with a bit of ginger cake there, I think. Looks very good. Yes, sensational is the word from the great man to my right. There goes Alex. He's marching off. And Danny Gregory's bouncing in to come in over the wicket to Catherine Bryce. And first ball with a leg spin. Bryce playing it down the ground to Alice Davison Richards. Bryce will move on to 14. 74 now. 4-1. Oh, Danny Gregory spins the ball in her fingers, then comes bouncing in over the wicket to Sarah Bryce. There's the bounce. Outside that off stump, just bounce and turn for Danny Gregory, laid back to cut. And over the top of her edge of her bat. Danny Gregory is in once more. Bryce forward, pushes into the offside, nicely played. Pick up a single, move on to 40 with Sarah Bryce. 75 for one now. There's Gregory. Ready once again to come over the wicket to Catherine Bryce. Catherine Bryce is forward and plays this one back down the pitch. Nice start this from Danny Gregory. There or thereabouts from ball one. Still the lawnmower goes round behind us. Danny Gregory is in. Armour bowl. Bryce is forward. He's turning this one down into the leg side. Lovely flight on that from Danny Gregory. Catherine Bryce picks up another single. 76 for one now, and Sarah Bryce comes back on to strike. And if Davison Richards down in front of us at long on. Danny Gregory over the wicket to Sarah Bryce, and she lays back, cuts straight to cover point, and no run there as Ailish Cranston does the fielding. So tidy first over that from Danny Gregory, 3 off it, 76 for one. Chasing that 294 for victory. The Lightning, Bryony Smith will continue down there from the town end of the ground. Catherine Bryce with, as I make it, 15 to her name. Settles over her back once more as Bryony Smith gets ready to come in over the wickets, get mid on and mid off up. As this is short, pulled into the leg side, good half stop in there by Grace Gibbs, who gets up very gingerly from that. They'll pick up a single. There's a bit of a hobble there from Grace Gibbs after that bit of fielding. 41 now to Catherine Bryce, apologies, on 16 now. Looking to run this one down towards backward point is Sarah Bryce. Go past her edge and taken by Chatley behind the stumps. Bryce down the pitch and driving, good looking shot this. Straight up to mid off, but timed that beautifully. Lovely use of the feet there. Emma Jones doing the fielding, but positive stuff that from Sarah Bryce. Now laid onto the back foot, and in the end lets that go, I think. Outside her off stump. Nicely taken by Chatley, moving away to her right hand side. Bryony Smith in again. Bryce looks to cut, and it boots the edge wide to the signal. So that'll be one more to the total. 78 now for one. Bryony Smith in again. Bryce pulls this time, straight down the ground. Takes the single, on this occasion down to Alice Davison Richards down there. Welcome back, Alex. No, yes, that's right. No, old boy, now you're back. So it's good to see you as Catherine Bryce comes back onto strike, and this one's turned into the leg side. Grace Gibbs does the fielding. End of the over, tidy over again. Just the 3 runs off it, 13 gone. 79 for one.
Because, went to the facilities inside. Very nice facility here. There's not just the toilet, but the indoor school. I think the lights were off last time I went in there, and lights are on. It looks fantastic in there. Really good facility. Is this where Kent come in the winter? They come down here, or they still do the academy as well? The academy there, yeah. Danny Gregory is on, swept into the leg side by Sarah Bryce.
2015 that opened.
2015. It just looks very good, very impressive. With that and the pavilion next door as well.
That's good facility, isn't it?
Yeah, just stand over there, just feel it could be built up slightly more and really be of good quality and first class ground. That's edged and sort of misfielded, but mitigation, the ball bounced awkwardly up at her face.
She did quite well there, Irish Cranston, because it's obviously the leg spinner, it's spinning away off the bat and then spinning away from the further off the turf, so it did very well.
It was already a diving stop, wasn't it? Then just to angle towards her face. She goes again, and that's in the air, but just short of her, and this time the ball's spun past her again. Come back for 2. Fielder behind her does the work.
Sarah Bryce is on to 44. Very good run so far.
Fairly similar to what we saw earlier with Bryony Smith and the way she came out here. That she laid the blueprints. That's a bit shorter, and that's it's worked out for a single. The sweeper's going to do the work on the offside. We saw Bryony Smith earlier scoring 84 off 73 balls at the top of the order, 12 fours in that as well, and there's some fantastic shots. We've seen Sarah Bryce very similarly, 6 fours, 1 6 so far of 45. This time just to work down into the ground.
Yeah, and I think Sarah Bryce will know she's got to keep going. As we saw, once Capsey and Smith got in, life was a lot easier, but just walking out there and getting on with it from the start of your innings is not easy at all. Everybody's needed a few cycles to get themselves in and going.
Full driven through the covers and right, tried to get down to it, just too wide for her, and just feel they'll come back for a second. Do come back for a second. Well run.
Well, these two have already put on 46 in no time.
46 in 51 balls, I believe.
Very good going.
Took a while for Catherine Wright to get going as well, but she sort of like 2 off about 13 balls, something like that at one point. Now she's up to 21 off 32, so she stuck with it while her sisters tick the runs along at a nicer pace, which was 36 balls, sorry, 225.
Yeah, an 86 for 2 after 14. Barney Smith continuing. Oh, it's bowled Bryce with a beauty. Goes straight on. And Sarah Bryce looking to pull that, and it just went straight on and bowled her. That's a nice bit of bowling from Bryony Smith. Sarah Bryce's very good innings comes to an end, but saw it short, thought I'm going to pull this, and then suddenly it skidded onto her. And her very good innings comes to an end courtesy of the South East Stars captain Bryony Smith, and Sarah Bryce, I think, goes for 45.
Yep.
And the Lightning find themselves now on 86 for 2. He missed the 15th over, but that just looked like a canny piece of bowling from Bryony Smith.
I feel like it stayed low a little bit as well. It's hard to see from behind the arm on the replay, behind the batter, sorry, on the replay, but so obviously it stayed low and it skidded, but I don't know if that just made it seem like it stayed low or not, but
I think probably but it just went on quickly from Bryony Smith, and that was just not nicely bowled by Bryony Smith, because Sarah Bryce has looked in terrific form, and also her eyes would have lit up there with that delivery, thinking, here we go, I'll pull this. So Abigail Freeborn is out there in the middle, made a good runs against the South East Stars at Guildford in the 2020 last month. Now out there with a job to do in the 50 overs. Bryony Smith is into Freeborn, and Freeborn's forward, right-hander to her first ball, turning this one into the leg side. Grace Gibbs doing the fielding. Freeborn waits again for Bryony Smith, and Smith again tosses it up there, and Freeborn's forward, fully committed to that defensive shot, just playing the ball down in front of it. See Chloe Brewer sat there watching away, doing some 12th duties today, as that one's gone past the edge of Freeborn's drive, nicely taken by Chatley.
It's really high quality bowling. This over is really touch good.
It's funny, Gregory and Bryony Smith get together and the runs become a bit harder to get, which is sort of what we expected. As Bryony Smith is in again, Freeborn's driving out there to Ailish Cranston, he does the fielding at bat. backward point, and there's no run. I think we've got one ball of the over to go. So far, it's a wicket made in this from Bryony Smith, and a good one as well at the moment. Grace Gibbs has just been moved to backward point as Bryony Smith is in, and Freeborn turns it leg side and will get off the mark with a single down towards Danny Gregory. And a very good over that from Bryony Smith. Just the single off it and the wicket. It's a very dangerous server. Bryce 87 for 2 then. The Lightning chasing 294, and Danny Gregory will continue.
Worth noting, as we noted earlier, this is a pretty big game for both teams. That if you win this, you can catapult yourself up above the other team here, and with the teams which go through, so the top 3 that go through from this, the top 2 top go through to the final.
Yes.
Second and third play each other in the semi-final. That if the South East Stars can do the double in their first full season regional setup, that'd be incredible work. That's Danny Gregory into attack, and that's played into the offside. To go along with the old Invincibles is 100 title as well. That this area of the country is really producing. I mean, we knew that this area of the country is good for women's cricket, but Kent have been exceptional in the county stuff. That's attempted to be pulled to leg-side delivery, but it's away with it. Kent have won so many sort of women's county championships in the last couple of years that South East Stars are continuing that tradition. It's Gregory again, full and textbook forward defensive from Abby Freeborn.
Yeah, and as I say, Anna Freeborn played very nicely at Guildford. I'll see where I can find that scorecard somewhere.
Danny Gregory is again back with it. She goes to pull it and gets it just wide of fine leg, but deep square. Capsey comes around and does the fielding. Just 2 runs. She gets 60 odd.
It's around about that.
Around 65 rings a bell in my head, but just changing the field slightly, but Bryony Smith's going to fine leg. Kaylee Moore's gone to third. Sort of quite wide third now, quite close to point. Back of the length now. Goes straight to where Kaylee Moore's just been moved to. The lower comes into my ears again. Another good sight over here from Gregory.
Yeah, Freeborn 61.
Yeah, she was class above. Again, that's very short, and that should be punished on her straight to point. Yeah, that's the end of the over. 89 for 2. Yeah, she was the only one who really got going in there, both for the Lightning from memory. While Capsey, ADR, and Tash Farrant all sort of got chipped in, didn't they? With sort of 20s, 30s.
Well, Farrant picked up one, Smith picked up.
I was thinking batting rather than bowling. Sorry. But
bowling wise as well, Capsey a couple, Smith a couple. 16th over has been and gone. 17th about to begin with Capsey, and sweeping into the leg side, and wide is the signal. Looking just how that round the corner was Catherine Bryce, got nothing on it. Forward goes Bryony Smith. Plays this one out towards extra cover, and there's no run. Danny Gregory lurking on the edge of the circle at fine leg. Bryony Smith is over the wicket, and this is turned leg side by Bryce. Danny Gregory does the furling, throws a little bit wild, and there's no signal on that at all. So that will be another single to Bryce. She'll move on to 22. Points once again as Freeborn are looking to run it out to the third man, but again can't really get enough bat on it. It's been a good start this from Bryony Smith. Bounces in pitch once more.
Something that's been sort of bothering me, these white boxes around on the outfield. Can you see?
Oh yeah, I'm not quite sure what they are.
I can't work out what they could be.
That's forward. Once more goes Graves, drives crisply up towards mid-off.
About 1.5 meters, boxes one way, sort of about half a metre.
They look like, to me, softball or possibly a stool ball. As Bryony Smith's in, and this is driven straight back up the pitch by Freeborn. It's another very tidy over from Bryony Smith. 17 have gone, and the Lightning find themselves 90. I hope that's right. 90 for 2.
91 for 2.
91 for 2. Not quite right, but nearly. 91 for 2.
Wide under 1 and that over. Doesn't. I guess there was enough balls over. It looked like they were one short. Just looking across, the sort of softball was sort of my original thought, but just the angle of them going that way and out there doesn't sort of fit with that. And Gregory starts again, played simply along the floor to Alice Davison, which is at long on. It might be just some sort of warm-up thing, or when the under-19s were here, they wanted the specific stuff on the outfield, or I don't know if they have any sort of kid stuff here, or sort of any coaching stuff here, but potentially that's just worked into just blocked into the leg side. And no run. Right, order through for the football tomorrow, which I'm covering.
Excellent. So, big game.
400 words on Bournemouth versus Blackpool. It says Blackpool, but I think it's meant to be Barnsley. That's attempted sweep.
Probably worth finding out beforehand.
I know it's Barnsley, but the desk has put Blackpool. That's the.
You could gamble and write it tonight.
I could have a go, couldn't I? Dom Solanke scores. Whatever. Back of length, and that's pulled into the leg side. Grace Gibbs is going to do the fielding on the boundary. That just another run there. People still to come in this over. Again, the other thing here is just building pressure by getting to the overs quickly as well. And you look up, 5 overs down the line, you've only scored. Well, they scored in the last 5 overs. I can actually see that on my computer. That just worked there. No run. Scored 16 for 1 in the last 5 overs.
Yeah, it's been good, hasn't it?
Gregory and Bryony Smith have bowled very, very well, very tight. Just really, really put the pressure on to the Lightning batters, especially with Sarah Bryce departing. That's back of length, that's cut away. Sweeper will do the business out on the point boundary. Some Vipers have beaten Thunder.
Oh wow, that's an early finish.
Thunder only got 110.
Right.
They won by 3 wickets on DLS, so I'm guessing there's a bit of rain there. Thunder were bowled out in only 32.5 overs. 4 wickets for Tara Norris, 3 for Paige Schofield. Ella McGacken, I think she's 18-19 now, got 41 to get them over towards the line. I think there was a half century for Kate Cross as well, the England bowler. Saw on Hypercourt, it was his first half century since about 2015.
Bryony Smith continuing, going past the inside edge, I think that is, with Catherine Bryce's bat looking to lay back and cut. Bryony Smith is in, and Bryce looks to pull off the front foot this time. The pad rolls away, and there is no run. Well, the weather's been good to us so far today. All that talk of rain, had a little shower this morning, that's it. Nice. Again, can't get the ball away, looking to force it through the offside, just rolls up towards Emma Jones. Stood up there at mid-off. Looks like there's a nice patch of weather coming though behind us. Bit more blue sky and sun. Bryony Smith's in again. Looking to cut. It's Bryce and it bounces again. Not taken cleanly by Shatley. As I say, today has been a test for the keepers as much as anyone. 94 on the board. No runs yet off this Barney Smith over.
Just brought in another field onto the offside there.
In again, and this is pulled out towards deep mid-wicket. Be happy with that. Barney Smith just a single.
Grace Gibbs came in and is now just coming just behind point. I think everyone just shifts around a little bit, so I think that shows what Barney Smith wants to get for that bounce, try and get it in there.
Into free ball comes Barney Smith, and free ball just paddles this out into the offside. No great foot movement, but a nice tidy over that. Just a single off at 19 gone. 95 for 2. Lightning after 19 overs. 118 for 2. So that was when Capsy and Barney Smith were going pretty well together, I think.
Was, yes. Where we were, yes, it was just before Barney Smith got out in the 24th over. So, it's in the peak of their powers. It's Danny Gregory again, big loopy ball. Just straight to cover. Looking at the field, long on, Davison Richard just in front, and you've got a deep mid-wicket and a deep square leg, and a deep cover on the offside. Fills out that. Good fielding at a good point there. Cranston, isn't it, I think? It's really, really good work. So it's not easy fielding just behind the bat, especially there as we're talking earlier about the spin which comes off the ball. She's got over there and smothered the ball. Gregory again, to come in and bowl at Bryce. This time she gets it slightly finer, down to third. Cranston's chased it. She's gone over her ankles there. She had to get 2. She made the ground up really well, picked the ball up, and just as she tried to turn, just the spikes got stuck in the ground. Just clearing it out now, making sure that nothing there to stop her doing that now. I looked very awkward for a second. She saw Kirsty Gordon going over her leg and needing a bit of treatment. That's just wide of Cranston at point, and fielder out on the point boundary can just gather it and keep it to 2. I think it's Phoebe Franklin out there. See her blonde hair poking out the back of her cap. So, again, they've just moved another fielder into that point region. It's Gregory go there and straight to Cranston, and again still another ball left, and there's Kalia Moore who's gone into that point region as well. That's where the ball keeps going every time. They're just walking in the back foot and trying to cut it, and if you cut out that area then you're really building the pressure. You don't want to go against the spin. This time she does just hook it down into the leg side. Does Catherine Bryce takes her to 30, and the score up to 100 in the Lightning at the end of the 20th over.
Yeah, they've done it very well so far. No huge alarms yet. So it's going to be Barney Smith to continue. Just matching all the numbers with my charts now. That's 20 gone then. Barney Smith, they're going along at nicely 5 and over. Lightning, Barney Smith is in, and this one's pulled away out towards deep backward square by Bryce. Oh dear, and there's been a little misfield, but the backing up's pretty good. And that'll be 2 more to a total. Keep you on your toes, isn't it?
It's the way they both look at each other afterwards. Whoops.
Back onto strike. Looking to cut that one away was Catherine Bryce. Absolutely nothing on it whatsoever. 30 was out, Catherine Bryce. If Barney Smith's in, that's a good looking shot. Drills it up towards mid-off, but there's no one there as Alice Davison Richards is a terrific fielder. Makes that look pretty easy, but that was absolutely hammered by Bryce. Smith is in, and Bryce is trying to run this one down to third man, gets absolutely nothing on it. It's taken by Chatley, neatly and tidily behind the stumps. moving to her right. Forward again goes Bryce, laying this one very respectfully down towards leg side. Grace Gibbs does the fielding. Bryony Smith is over the wicket once again and driving in the air up and over the top of mid-off. That's a very good shot. That's going to run away for 4. It's a very sensible shot that from Bryce. She'll move on to 36 and Vipers move on to 107 for 2. And I think, Alex, that they'll be quite pleased with how this has gone so far.
Yes, I think they will be. The Stars were starting to go at this point, weren't they? And I think Lightning seems to have got out of that Gregory and Smith stranglehold and have sort of pulled it away in the last couple of overs, put himself back on top. I think they'll definitely be happy with where they are at the moment, but the worry that will be in the back of their minds is as the pitch loses its flatness, or what the heavy roller offered at tee, whether the ball's going to start to turn again. That will be in the back of their minds. They know what happened earlier on in that sort of about overs 30ish to 45 or something around there. The spin they were getting there. Here's Danny Bailey with some spin. That's just cut away. Really well fielded by Cranston at point again. Just whether that happens again in this innings, and whether they have used up people like Gregory and Smith by then, and I mean Kalia Moore's no mug with the ball as Cap seasoned either, but you don't want to use up your best bowlers not in the best conditions for them, but at the same time you still need them to bowl now.
And you need wickets. Exactly. That's the other thing.
You always want them to be bowling 20 overs each, but I don't think that's going to be happening. That's driven straight to point again. More of a fumble. There's a chance of a run out, but gets back quite easily in the end.
Yeah, like putting a bit of pressure on the fielders there.
So Cranston had a couple of those which just bounced, just spun awkwardly in front to her and just ended up sort of just fumbling a little bit, and nabbed a couple of runs there, but also the amount of runs that Cranston saved as well has probably made up for it as well, so it's pretty even in there. It's probably juice. That's swept and they're going to get a single there. They're talking of juice. Emma Raducanu this morning at the
yes, she's in the final.
How amazing is that? It's really
incredible story.
Come out of nowhere, 3 qualifying rounds, obviously at Wimbledon earlier this year, and now in the final of the US Open. That's again work backwards to a point.
Imagine that. Well, it's a fantastic story. If you wrote it in Hollywood, they wouldn't believe you.
No, not at all. 18-year-old, and so not someone who's been on the radar. The people you knew, saw Andy Murray was coming through and things like that. That's cut away, and going to be a single. First British woman in a Grand Slam since Virginia Wade as well. That's more your era than mine, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yes. Sue Barker, she got to the final of the French
Open, didn't she? Yeah. I remember that. That used to come up on Question of Sport all the time.
And she was sweating.
That's just a single. Yeah, they've just changed the percent, haven't they?
Yes, Paddy Guinness now.
It's the end of the over. 110 for 2. Yep. 22.
110 for 2. Just as a comparison, after the 22 overs.
131.
Yeah, 131. So, but that was when that partnership was going between Bryony Smith and Alice Capsey.
184 still required. 28 overs. Still just over 6 and over, 6.5 and over they need to go up.
Bryony Smith is in, and this is pulled out towards deep backward square. They'll pick up one more. Takes Catherine Bryce on to 37, I think. And
39.
3 Vaughan.
The problem with not having a score. In front of her.
3 Vaughan is on strike, uses her feet, and then has to turn the ball from Gregory down into the leg side. And there is no run. My bird is down there watching away in the distance. In comes Bryony Smith again, and this is driven by Freeborn. It's good half stop by Emma Jones up there at mid-off, but it's still going to get away for 4, and Freeborn does like battling against the South East Stars, and that's 115 for 2. That was a very good shot.
Just powerful shot. There's been quite a few today where when players have really gone through with their shots, they've hit the ball very, very hard, but there's a couple of sore hands, a couple of them have just gone through fielders in the morning.
Yeah, there will be Chloe Brewer doing some 12th duties as this one pulled behind square by Freeborn. Quick singles taken down to Danny Gregory.
Almost a very, very good pick-up that from Danny Gregory. I thought it's hit quite hard to behind square. Just didn't quite gather it in the first step, but she might have been close.
Bryony Smith in again, and it's nicely played. Opening the face, guiding it off down towards third man, and they'll get back for 2. And there'll be 2 more to the total. I think that takes Price on to 41 now.
Should be 41, yeah.
Excellent.
I think it's in the bottom of the live stream anyway. So.
Excellent. That's what I've got written down. That is good news. As Price waits again for Bryony Smith. Has she got something on that? It's hit the glove of Chapley. It's running off down towards third man. Again, it's that bounce. Just watching the umpire, and there's no signal, so there was a little bit of bat on that. And 2 off the last ball of the over means that after 23, 8 off that over, 118 for 2.
I think I'll give Catherine Bryce thumbs up there. I think she was guiding that. I think that's exactly where she wanted to play it as well. That it looked a little bit edgy at first, but actually when you look at the angle of the bat and the face opening up the third, there's space there for them to get to, and Grace Gibbs did well just in front of us to gather the ball just before it went over the boundary as well, that she got through very quickly. Danny Gregory to bowl at Abby Freeborn here, just in her stance already. Bit of a half flat. It's going straight down Bryony Smith's throat there, but actually it's gone wide and sending me a single to the boundary there. That was a
sickening way to get out.
Yes, sort of ball which sort of says hit me, and then you hit it and it goes straight to a fielder, and you think, oh, why'd I hit that? So Gregory prepares again, a little skip, and pushes it out. This time it's a full toss, so she needs to get somewhere between where those 2 balls went to get that turn and bounce. You haven't gone for a jog, Joe?
No, I'm just sort of getting my legs moving again.
Just
legs have
stood up next to me and started to dog jog
to sleep.
Gregory again, that's full ball in itself. That's scooped beautifully. And that should go for 4. That's really good inventive cricket. Oh, the fielder does come around, but so he was trying to use the pace of the ball, and because it's Danny Gregory's spin, there wasn't a great deal of pace. So it allowed the fielder, I think it's Cranston again, isn't it? 28, yeah, Cranston got around there. No, it's not, it's Alice Capsey. 26, got it round there and did a very good job to make sure that the ball didn't go to the boundary and saved a run, 2 runs. No, just a run, it was 3. Very nice piece of inventive cricket there, just to flick it down off her legs. This time's a bit more of an uglier hoik, but still going to be Capsey on the boundary, doing a commando roll to keep the ball in, keep it down to just the 1. 5 from the first 4 balls of this over. Gregory again puts the ball up in the air and it's full again. It's misfielded by White on the ring. It's only a single, and he hadn't got a hand on it, it would have been a single behind as well, so it's no great loss. Gregory again. Deep breath at the end of her mark this time. This time much better ball just back of the length, and that's the length you want to be bowling here on this pitch. And there's no run. And that ends the 24th over, 125 for 2.
Yeah, and pretty tidy over again from Danny Gregory, but I think the Vipers will be, they're just setting the platform here. 24-125. Now, they need just over 300 to win it, so they're about where they need to be at the moment to do this. And these two coming together when the score was on 86.
40 or 59 balls. So it's not quick, but it's getting through these overs. These are the dangerous overs with Smith and Gregory. They are the premium spin bowlers in the Stars attack.
It looks like it's going to be Khalil Moore back into the attack down there in the distance.
The other premium spin bowler in the...
She's in now. That's down the leg side first up. So that'll be one more to the total. 126 now on the board for the Lightning. After this over, will be at halfway of their run chase. Khalil Moore is over the wicket once again. This is cut very nicely down towards third man. And is it going to beat Ailish Cranston? It is. It's a great effort to get to it from Ailish Cranston. Price moves to 50. What a good 50 this has been. And the Lightning will want it to continue. But there you are, the ripple of applause.
64 balls, 3 fours.
Very good innings this. Holding it all together for her side. Lost her sister. But now doing a very, very good job here for her team.
So you said earlier on that Sarah looked more fluent and the better batter, but sort of Catherine Bryce got stickability and has been sort of nudging it around nicely and just keeping going.
She has indeed. Freeborn's on 13 as this is short and it's pulled by Bryce to 52. Freeborn coming back onto strike on 13, 132 now for 2. Where they need to be at the moment. Freeborn forward and just turns this one from Khalil Moore into the leg side.
Catherine Bryce up to 151 runs for the season as well, so she's Lightning's second highest run scorer behind Tammy Beaumont, 167 runs in 3 innings.
Khalil Moore is in. Forward goes Catherine Bryce, turns Khalil Moore leg side, takes another single. 134 now for 2. Catherine Bryce has moved on to 53. Freeborn comes on to strike again. The sun's threatening to come out now at Beckenham. Moore is in and looking to drive his Freeborn, and that goes past the edge. Nicely taken by Chapley, nicely flighted that delivery.
Yeah, that threat of rain seems to have gone past. When you look up now, you don't think the clouds have got much rain in them now, so I think we should be fine for the rest of this game. Fingers crossed.
Khalil Moore's in again, looking to turn into the leg side this time is Freeborn, but with that bounce, just hit the pad. So, that is... Oh no, I thought that was halfway, but umpire... Yeah, that is halfway, because umpire Malindor said that is the end of the over. So 25 gone, and Lightning are 134 for 2 after 25. South East Stars have found themselves 150 for 2. So that was 3, apologies, that's Bryony Smith had just gone. So 150 for 3 they found themselves. So there's a bit of a chat out there in the middle at the moment as we have a drinks and a hand sanitisation break. I suppose we're getting through these overs fairly quickly with the amount of spin that we're having.
We are. Well, indeed. I'm just having a look to see if I'd have the app on here, whether there's a quick viz wind predictor.
I'd say 50-50 at the moment between my wind predictor. I'm just having a look round the market here, getting the old knees going.
Interesting up on the other side.
Marks. Well, he always does. He's a genius, this lad.
He's won 2 tournaments this year, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, absolutely. So he's got more medals than...
So Usain Bolt was the one I was going for, but...
No, United's bubbling up quite nicely this game, isn't it? We probably haven't seen as much turn as we expected to. And I wonder, the roller sometimes does make a difference, but it would have worn off by now, you would have thought.
I think that to this point of the Stars innings, I don't think we would have talked about the spin too much.
No, it took a while to wake up.
It was after Smith had got out, really, wasn't it? So it obviously depends on the ball and how soft of the two balls. Obviously, the ball from each end, how soft that's getting as well. That maybe Lightning were doing a better job of getting it softer, so it got more purchase.
It was sort of that moment Alice Capsey got run out, wasn't it? In the 36 over.
Yeah, just before then it was turned just before then, and then that really sort of capitalised on it.
Capitalising on the Caps.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get it through my brain whether that worked. I don't think it quite has worked as well.
That was off the tongue nicely. Danny Gregory back into the attack.
She hasn't left, has she? She's back bowling whatever, and with her offies, that is stepped across, and he's gone for a sort of expansive ramp, and she's going to get 2 for it at the very least.
Yeah, it's nicely played again.
That area of the ground has been opened up for a while, but Bryony Smith's now positioned herself there, but something that especially in women's cricket they talk about when they leave that empty, you go for your flicks to back yourself. It can be quite profitable areas. That's knocked into a big gap at mid-wicket. They look for 2, but Grace Gibbs has come in at pace and chucked the ball on one of the used wickets next door, potentially one they used for the England under-19s here in the last week. They're playing down, or they've already played today down at Canterbury, where the England under-19s won. That's played into the leg side. Grace Gibbs does the work again, but he's chased down 136 for just a loss of 1 wicket. But Thomas and Bethel, not sure which were there, 59 and 64, 67, 59 not out, sorry, in 67. So good performance there for the under-19s. That's given a lot of fight. That's hidden. That's going straight to Alice Davies-Richards. Hit the footmarks of the pitch, 3 down from it, and it's completely changed trajectory.
Yeah. It really did skip off the footmarks, that one.
See Davies-Richards, a big sort of smile after that. That didn't cost any extra runs, but one of those to keep an eye on. That's just worked into the offside, no run. Yeah,
it really did hit those footmarks and explode. Now, what South East Stars would like to see that happen on the pitch we're using.
Yeah, if they could just move that little patch mid-off and move it to about 5 yards. Oh, that's it, straight back at Danny Gregory. That's it, absolutely like a rocket, straight over Danny Gregory's head, and that's going to be 4 runs.
Yeah, Freeborn's very strong. Remember seeing this at Guildford. Very strong down the ground. That one did whistle off down the ground. I can't make this pitch out now. No, it's an absolute belter of a wicket because it's got a bit for everybody. But it just seems to be doing not quite as much as I think we expected.
It's just before we missed the 50 partnership between these two. As well as 66 balls, so these two. That's now up to 57 after that 4. It came slightly earlier in the over.
Phoebe Franklin's coming into the attack now.
It's a bit of pace on again, isn't it? That?
Yeah. So the 27th over, 143 for 2. 9 for the target for Lightning.
Nearly halfway there, aren't they?
Yeah, doing this very nicely at the moment. So Phoebe Franklin, a couple of practice deliveries to our captain Bryony Smith.
They go for a Yorker, which I thought was a bit harsh, but
never a great one for the captain. That at least it wasn't at full base. As Franklin comes in over the wicket, and the first ball is driven down the ground by Catherine Bryce. She'll pick up a single on 144 for 2. Bryce has moved on to 58 now, back onto For strike comes Freeman. Still mowing.
There's a lot of pitches in there, but
There's a lot.
Patrick wants it just perfect.
Franklin is in and looking to turn this one leg side is Freeborn.
So if it isn't 2 millimetres long, then
They look immaculate. You could play the World Snooker Championships on that pitch. Flattest bit of base I've ever seen, to be honest with you. Franklin, right time over the wicket. Freeborn, swing and a miss. Thought they had her there. Freeborn trying to swing that over the leg side. Also, all sorts of oohs and ahs. And I have to say, Emma Jones and Danny Gregory sort of left that to each other, and it's gone over the boundary rope for 4 byes. So 148 now for 2. But I think Emma Jones, Danny Gregory, they had that horrible thing of after you, no, after you, oh no, it's gone over the rope. Sort of leaving it to each other a touch there. Franklin over the wicket once again, and this is driven down the ground hard. They'll just take a single. Freeborn will move on to 20.
Guess the alternative is they slide into each other, and I think we've both seen before the Rory Burns incident down at Arundel probably sticks in my memory much longer than I would like to think it would. That was
horrible,
sickening.
Over the wicket once again then is Franklin, and this one's down the leg side, another wide. The signal, and that's the 150 up for Lightning. So 150 comes up for Lightning with a wide. Bryony Smith trying to get her team going. Stood up there at a deepish mid-off. Franklin is in, and this is turned into the leg side by Freeborn. Should just be a single, will just be a single. Freeborn's on to 21, 151 for 2. In this the 26th over, Lightning chasing 294 for victory in what is a very important game for both sides. Exactly the same number of points as this one is driven by Catherine Bryce straight to cover point, and there's no run. End of the over, 27 gone now, and I make that 151.
I concur.
Hooray!
65 partnership. Just looking at the partnerships, whenever you talk to the players after games, especially in one-day matches, they talk about partnerships and building partnerships, don't they? And partnership 40, 46 and 65 there, that's what's really underpinned, really sort of getting the other batter going. That's at the beginning you had Harmer never really got going, but sort of say when Catherine Bryce got in, Sarah Bryce sort of allowed her to sort of get going and sort of build it around. That's Gregory again just pushed back into the covers. So when Freeborn was quite slow to get going, still 20 off 38, Catherine Bryce has taken the pressure off. They're taking the pressure off each other and
done it very well so far.
Got the running going, so they sort of shared it around, sort of made sure that the bowlers can't settle. Textbook chase so far which you have to emphasise. That serve pulled in front of square. Should come back for 2. Grace Gibbs getting across the outfield. Comes in.
Yes, good chase that from Grace Gibbs, got round very quickly.
Planning and plotting what she's going to do with this delivery. Tosses it up, very full delivery, and it just pierced the gap between point and cover, so it's a single to the cover boundary rider. Just looking around and just seeing
Sleepy Franklin out there.
Yeah, Sleepy Franklin has been out there during this innings. Just put out for no run. Just seen a young girl just turn up with her father on the far side of the ground. That's
excellent.
Actually, quite a few kids just turning up now. So I don't know if local school just finished, and they've come down to cricket. They're in for a belting finish. That's pushed into leg side. There's a single over there every time. I mean, they hit that slightly hard. There could be 2 there. So
Freeborn playing very nicely again. doing that T20 game is now.
Yeah, very, very different innings, but equally effective, equally important. So that's in there, and that's driven, or doesn't quite carry to Kaylee Moore at backward point. Second there, as she thought about diving forward and realised it wasn't reaching her. At end of the over, 155 for 2, 28 overs done.
Yep, 28 gone, as Alex so rightly says. The Natter out there in the middle. I think it's Cranston having a bit of a chat with umpire Malinder. So, Phoebe Franklin to continue from the town end of the ground as the mowing continues, as well behind us on the training ground. So Phoebe Franklin getting the ball back in her hands. Freeborn is on strike. Franklin's in. Freeborn drives. Nice looking shot out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary row. Take one more. 156. And Freeborn's moved on to 23 now. Bryce back on strike on 61. Franklin coming over the wicket to Bryce, and Bryce just nudges this one into the leg side. Will take another single, moves on to 62. 157 for 2. It's that rotation again, they're just finding those singles, there's gaps. There's a big gap on the leg side from both bowls at both ends, and they're just working it really well at the moment. Really intelligent batting. Phoebe Franklin is in. Free ball. Came down the pitch, saw her, dropped a little bit shorter. She waited for it, runs it off the backward point, takes the single. 158 for 2. The free ball's moved on to 24. Turning again in the distances. Franklin comes in over the wicket, and this is swung high in the air by Bryce. The heck of a catch from Grace Gibbs. She does really well to get in there as it bounces, pick it up with one hand and throw it in. So Bryce didn't get all of it, and Grace Gibbs came sprinting in, and it skipped off the turf, and she did extremely well there. And Bryce moves on to 63, 159 for 2, 64. As in over the wicket once again comes Franklin, and this is driven down the ground but not really timed on this occasion by Freeborn. 59 for 2. It's waiting once more. You can see it on the live stream. I don't know why I'm saying it. As in over the wicket once more is Franklin took all the pace off this one, and Freeborn looking to cut was through it very early. End of the over. 159 for 2 then. 29 overs gone. They're tidy over that, but after 29 overs, the South East Stars were 181 for 3. So at the moment,
just had the engine.
That's it. Great. Excellent. Super. If you see, that doesn't always make a difference, doesn't it? I can hear you again now. I'm feeling peaceful now in Beckenham.
Yeah, it's fun. Danny Ball is her last over, this is. She bowled 9, so far 9 overs on for 43. Starts off with a ball just outside the stump and gets the dot ball. What I have been slightly obsessed with is, it's started off again, is the Loughborough Lightning squad member who's been on the exercise bike for about 20 overs, I think. Every time I look up there, and she's really sort of pumping it through. Because again, sometimes it's just worked into the leg side for a single. So doing the hard yards on the exercise bike, just in front of the... that doesn't sound healthy.
No. It's a lot of effort to not go anywhere. It's on the old exercise bike.
Yeah. I guess that's why they're professional cricketers. That's it. Pushing to the back line, the back foot, no run. It's good stamina.
Good after that.
Sure it will come back to pay dividends when she has big long innings and keep on going. Gregory stops the end of the mark in. closes herself, bounces in, back of the length, and that's pulled straight to Capsy on the square leg boundary. It's just the one run. The wind's just picked up again, I think. Looking at the flags to my right. Really sort of coming in across the ground from behind us at the Crystal Palace end where Danny Gregory is bowling. That's hit the pad, but no run. More to come in this over, 161 for 2.
And we're down to the last 20 overs of this game.
So you usually double it, don't you? That's not far away from winning. But we saw what happened with Stars innings this time. That's worked into the leg side. Probably just the one, and it is just the one. As Capsy lobbed up her underarm back to her keeper, and that's the end of Danny Gregory's spell today. She's bowled 10 overs, gone for 46 runs. Good effort. Probably all right to wicket or two in there, just the way that Lightning had bowled earlier on and the way it was turn and bounce. I think that's more saying of the quality of Danny Gregory that we expect that from her. But still, 46 is a good return.
Yep, no. Pretty tidy stuff from Danny Gregory. And it's going to be Phoebe Franklin down there in the distance to bowl the 31st over. Catherine Bryce on strike on 66. And Bryce will move on to 67. Might even think about 2 here. No, just a single as she tucks that ball from Franklin into the leg side.
Flirting with those twos, haven't they? Every time it's not just hit slightly too hard or slightly underhit. The minute they'll start getting the right pace of the ball and getting the twos in that leg side, big deep expanse on that leg side.
Franklin over the wicket. All balls, Freeborn. What a good time to get that wicket. And that looked like it was a little bit of an off-cutter. And Freeborn's pushed at it and it's hit the top of the off stump. They always say, hit the top of the off stump. That's exactly what Phoebe Franklin has done. And that's a good wicket at this point, because that partnership was just beginning to threaten the South East Stars. So Freeborn, very good innings again. Played nicely in the T20 games, played nicely in this Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy game, but has to go for 25, bowled by Franklin in the 31st over. And we were saying it's difficult for the new batter to just come in and immediately start striking the ball. So 163 for 3, and 31st over, Freeborn gone for 25. I
feel like I've seen this innings before. I think I saw it about 2 hours ago. That's the way that it's going, and just needs the next batter to sort of stick around and not sort of do anything too rash. I do wonder with that ball whether it was an attempted off-cutter. It came out the top of the hand a little bit. The way she reacted afterwards looked a little bit guilty if it didn't quite come out how she wanted, but it actually ended up being absolutely perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't really matter too much as long as it sort of hits. You're quite happy. And Teresa Graves is out there now.
It all says the same in the scorebook, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Bold Franklin.
Indeed it does. So Teresa Graves in very pink pads. They've been in the wash. As Franklin is in, and right-handed Teresa Graves goes forward to her first ball, pushes this one out into the offside, and there's no run.
Looking over at the other Lightning players, I think they're the right colour. I think the other end, the red ones that Catherine Bryce has got on, they're the wrong colours.
Yes, it's a bit like when you put your white t-shirt in with a red hanky. As in over the wicket once again comes Franklin, and forward goes Graves, plays this one out towards extra cover. White comes around to do the furling.
Whether the reddish colour ones are the KSL issues and the pink ones are the Rachael Heyhoe Flint regional issue, potentially. I don't know. I know the kits, you look around and there are kits differences from some of the teams.
Graves driving, looking to get off the mark to a good length delivery from Franklin. Pushed away into the offside.
so far. Good stuff from Phoebe Franklin.
Yep, very good. This from Phoebe Franklin at the moment. As this one is pushed straight back up the pitch again, and Franklin does the fielding off her own bowling. So what a good over that was from Phoebe Franklin. At this stage, 1 run and a wicket. 31 gone, 163 then for 3, chasing 294 to win this. Lightning all bubbling up very, very nicely here.
The thing I have noticed is that the required rate's now up to 6.89. It's not a great difference, but it was at sort of 6.5 for a long time. That the rate just slightly going up, not by a whole run, but it's worth sort of keeping an eye on here. Change of bowling. Alice Capsey's come back into the attack. Obviously Danny Gregory's finished for the day, so Capsey, her first 2 overs went for 21, but that was with the new ball. That's a very full toss, which Alison David Richards is going to get across and do the fielding at long on. Capsey obviously scored 78 earlier on. Quite magnificent innings to continue her fine form that she's been building up over the last 2 months. It's pretty much the beginning of the 100. With the ball as well, she impresses as well. There's a long list of impressive international players she got out during the 100, and not least Heather Knight, the England captain. She just brought Davidson Richards up from long on up to mid on. Just defended back to into leg side, but Capsey gets there. That will be because Graves just come in, so you're trying to build the pressure. You don't want to give an easy single down the ground. Real sort of ring field on the offside. Try and permeate that just in big space between sort of on the leg side at square leg for a single.
And weather's cheering up a bit for the end of this game now, which is nice. Bit of blue sky, some sun. Haven't seen Emma Jones yet with the ball.
No, we haven't. Here's Capsey again. That's very full and just slides underneath the bat. Well bowled. Yorker length that. She got a bit of tap against Lightning, didn't she?
She did.
That, I know she is a good bowler. She's a good quick bowler, but there maybe they worried against the Abby Freeborn again. That's just back of her length and just hitting the ground. Plus, is this pitch really suited towards her as well?
I think that's probably what it is more than anything. It's not really her pitch to bowl on. This one, Emma, I thought she batted nicely today.
Very nicely done. Really impressed. Her and Kaylia Moore at the end there. That was. If they win the game, I think that's what you'd probably put it down to, giving them that momentum. That's driven to the offside, no run.
Yeah, it's a good looking shot for no runs, but it's a tidy over that from Alice Capsey as well. Just 2 off it. So 32 gone, 165 now for 3, with 18 overs remaining. And just to give you an idea of where the Stars were at this point, they were 199 for 4.
The other interesting bit is if it absolutely teamed it down now, DLS pass score is 164 at the moment. So
we're pretty much where we need to be.
Pretty much where they would aim to be if you were going along at that rate. So
interesting that. So Phoebe Franklin it will be, continuing from the town end. Driving out into the offside is Graves. Little misfield. And that'll enable Graves to get back for a couple of runs. She'll move on to 3. 167 now for 3. Well, she played a couple of drives that she's timed beautifully so far, Graves. One was travelling to Kirsty White a bit quicker than she thought as Franklin's in and Graves forward, turns this into the leg side. We'll take a single. Was thinking about 2, but there definitely isn't 2 there this time. And just 1 more to her. Score moves on to 168 for 3. Catherine Bryce comes back onto strike on 68. Very good runs so far Franklin over the wicket to Bryce. Bryce drives, beats the edge, beautifully taken by Chatley, who whips off a bail for good measure. Chatley will do the repair work. Umpire Mallinger
not moved
hasn't moved an inch, so it'll be left to Chatley to pick the bail up, sort the stumps out, put it back on. There's Franklin over the wicket once again and driving up towards mid-off, nicely timed by Graves, that probably timed it a bit too well. Bryony Smith
bobbled nastily at Bryony Smith there.
She's done pretty well there, actually.
A very excellent piece of fielding to be able to stop that.
Catherine Bryce timed that beautifully. Catherine Bryce waits again with that bat raised. Franklin into her, and it's a slower ball that she waits for and tugs into the leg side to pick up another single. She'll move on to 169 now for 3, but South East Stars here shutting this innings down at the moment. That's a boundary for a long time. Phoebe Franklin is in once again and driving up towards mid-off is Graves, and there's no run. So again, it's a very good over from Phoebe Franklin in terms of runs, and it's all got very tired in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overs, 10 runs.
So last boundary was 4 byes from Franklin Freeborn in the 27th and 26th over. The last ball was that Freeborn hit Gregory for a boundary through a really powerful one, which was almost caught and bowled. That was the last boundary off the bat. So again, it was very similar to when Stars. What's this stuff? The sunshine.
Sun's out.
Just suddenly just burst through a cloud that's defended back down the ground. Burst through, and
be a nice evening now.
It tends to be nice when we come here. All these some Stars games here have been. The ones against the Vipers, the first one in particular, was a lovely day down here. That's I tried to drive it, but sort of clothed it slightly.
Yes, the only day that wasn't very nice was when I was Scott Reed's stunt double for the Lancashire Kent game, and it rained solidly.
Yes, I remember listening to a little bit of that on the stream. That's down leg side. I think there might be a little bit of bat on that. The umpire, I don't think he's given a wide. He's not given a wide yet. They've come back for 2.
Yep,
a little bit of bat on it. So if anything got away for Capsey. Yeah, you got about 20 overs in.
Yeah, then it really did.
Absolutely
chuck it down.
There's Capsey in again, off spin. That's up in the air, but Davison Richards is down at long on rather than mid on. Mid on would have been a good effort to get across to it, but just keeps it to a single. 172 for 3. It's quiet patch just after a wicket, and that's bowled. She's bowled it. She's gone back in her crease, tries to hoik it into the leg side, and it's hit the top of middle stump. I reckon from here. Capsey is in with the wickets as well now.
Yeah, nice bit of bowling again from Capsey. Just Graves saw that short, jumped onto the back foot, and then just skidded on. And 172 for 4 now. So they're doing this very well at the moment, the South East Stars. Just shutting this innings down, really. And a bit more pressure. It's sort of lumped onto the shoulders of Catherine Bryce, who's out there on 69 not out, but you feel has to do a lot of the batting from here for Lightning.
And so what's been so good about her innings is how she's been able to rotate the strike, and whether she can take the responsibility is sort of the big question from here. Although batter coming out is Ella Claridge, who in the Vipers game earlier in the year did look very good rotating the strike in the T20 game. That really, I think she hit 1 boundary and was about a runner ball other than that. So
still quite a lot of runs from here though, isn't it? 122. Yes, it's quite a lot of runs. You can't have too many quiet overs.
No, I still look at that big gap in the leg side and think there's 6 and over in there really. But obviously with the ball turning, you don't want to be sort of. So at least here it's playing with the turn. There's swept by Claridge first ball. They come through for a single.
Yeah, the thing is, there aren't boundaries at the moment. That's the thing.
No.
Singles, South East Stars quite happy with that.
But again, this is, if we look at the Stars innings around this time, there weren't any boundaries either, and they came good at the end again when the pace came back on the ball. So if it mirrors itself accurately, then just have to be patient and try and get a partnership going at the end. But I mean, that partnership between Moore and Jones was quite sort of exceptional, wasn't it? It was the difference between the two innings at this so far. But obviously, we haven't got to that part. It's going to be Ella Claridge who's going to take strike in this end.
Yes, indeed, and Phoebe Franklin will continue. This is the 35th of their 50 overs. Just a reminder, that target 294 for the Lightning. So Phoebe Franklin coming over the wicket to Claridge. And Claridge, that's way down the leg side, and this will be signalled wide. Nicely taken by Chatley away to her left hand side. Yes, for being blessed with some sun at the moment, which is very pleasant indeed here in Beckenham. Haven't really seen it too much today. Franklin over the wicket. Claridge looks to cut this one down through backward point, beats the edge. Nicely taken by Chatley, moving away to her right hand side. As we've both been saying, it's a big old game, this one, for both these sides. So over the wicket again comes Franklin. Driving is Claridge out into the offside, and there is no run. Aeroplane going overhead again.
Yeah, a couple of them taking off from, I think Gatwick must be in that area, going up in that, going from right to left as we're looking.
Franklin's in, works this one into the leg side as Claridge. That's the key thing, because it gets the batter Catherine Bryce, who's sort of in possession of all of this at the moment, back on strike on 69. Bryce settles over her bat once more as Franklin over the wicket to her, and Bryce backs away outside the leg stump. Good bit of bowling. Franklin followed it, trying to make a bit of room there, I think, to go through the offside, but Franklin saw where she was off to and followed it, cramped her up for room, and again it's just a single. She's, from a South East Stars point of view, absolutely fine at the moment. Run rate's creeping up. There's Franklin over the wicket to Claridge, and Claridge winds up to have a big drive at that one, but it never got to her.
Slow ball, Yorker, wasn't it? It was a good ball.
Yep, good bit of bowling.
She's bowled very well, Franklin, here.
She has, and at just the right time for her captain as well.
Just when we thought that it was going to be spin to win, that she's come on and really bowled off pace nicely.
Yep. And that wicket of Freeborn, very important, as she's in again here, and Claridge chips it down the ground, will get a single. That'll move her on to 3 and move Lightning at the end of the over, at the end of the 35th. So 15 to go, just 4 off that over, and the Lightning 177 now for 4. So it's 117 off 15.
7.8 and over now.
And with
it's
no
really
boundaries.
Skyrocketed.
No, well, there hasn't been a boundary.
There hasn't.
And they've literally shut this innings down in very good fashion, the South East Stars.
Yeah.
Bryony Smith's found a combination that's worked for her.
Yeah. It's Capsey who's been part of that combination. That's a thick outside edge that could not got enough to go down to the boundary. They should come back for 2, and they do.
It's been an important spell of bowling, this, from Phoebe Franklin for me.
Franklin, I think the end of Gregory as well, keeping it tight. I think it was the wicket of Freeborn.
Absolutely.
Go bang bang there with Teresa Graves. They've really sort of taken control of the game in a really good way. Here is Capsey again. That's down leg side, and she turns in exasperation as she knows that the arms are going to be outstretched from Neil Mallender. And there was a bye to go along, or a wide to go along with it, so 2 off that ball. So Alison Davis retreats to the long on boundary. Capsey again. bit of flight, driven quite attractively to point, but well fielded there by Cranston.
I'm just looking at Franklin, 5 overs, no maidens, 1 for 17. Very good.
Very, very good. That period of the game as well, especially where we weren't expecting pace to be quite as good, but she's done what no other pace bowl's really done the later times. That's driven for a single, and that's to keep it tight in those overs. And sort of at times pace bowling's been where you can sort of take the pressure off as a batting team in this game, but Franklin's done very, very well. Used the cutters and variations to her advantage. Driven down the ground, no run for Claridge. One thing also that Ella Claridge, that in the ECB schools games last week, which pretty much all the young talented players in the country, she was the highest run scorers. Scored 22 runs more than anyone else in 4 games. It's pulled into the leg side, 136 runs in 4 games. Up at they're playing at Loughborough at Hazel Grove.
Very good.
Which isn't bad going for us. Someone who plays for Buckinghamshire, but the beginning of the season wasn't in sort of the Lightning. She's only sort of just after 100 been pulled by Bryce. Sort of took advantage of the 2 Bryce sisters being called up for Scotland there and got her chances, and she's taken the chances, and
brilliant.
She's kept her place in the team here, and has a chance to put down a proper marker here, but it's going to take some getting here with boundaries drying up.
Slightly better over that, 7 off it. So slightly better over.
Biggest over for probably about 5 overs, 6 overs. The last time we had anything as large as that was 8 off the 27th over.
Well, there are 14 to go now, so it's 110 required off 14. And it's Phoebe Franklin continuing down there in the distance with Catherine Bryce on 75. Franklin's into Bryce, drives over the top of that, and Chatley hits something on it. It ricochets away, and there's no run. Yeah, so Bryce there driving straight over the top of that one from Phoebe Franklin. Ice Cream Man's gone now.
I saw he went about maybe 10 overs ago.
Oh, as the sun came out, as Franklin is in, turns this one into the leg side, and Bryce will pick up another single. She moves on to 76, 185 now for 4.
Maybe go outside of school or something if they were just finishing up.
Ah,
make
good
some
point.
Money. That
yeah,
might
with,
be,
with the sun out as well,
yeah.
of course. Franklin over the wicket, and this is hit down the ground by Claridge. She'll pick up a single. One more to her, one more to the total. 186 now for 4. Back onto strike comes Catherine Bryce on 76. Phoebe Franklin over the wicket to Bryce, and Bryce is slapping this one. One bounce up to mid-off. Bryony Smith with the throw. If that had hit, that would have been very tight. As it is, she's hit the umpire. So that's woken everybody up. 187 now for 4. On to 77 goes Bryce.
Sophie McClellan didn't look like she enjoyed that, did she?
No, it was absolutely whistled in at the stumps. Franklin's into Claridge, and Claridge is bowled. All ends up by Franklin. Swung across the line, had to try and get on with it at the moment, and Claridge will make her way back to the pavilion. Franklin has a second wicket in this excellent spell of bowling from Phoebe Franklin, and Claridge goes for 7, and that will leave Lightning 187 for 5 in this, the 37th over. But again, good bowling from Phoebe Franklin. Just putting it up there, little bit of nibble, and South East Stars, it's been very good. As I say, the way they've shut this down has been mightily impressive, because Freeborn went in the 31st over with the score on 163 with that partnership with Bryce, and then now, what are we, 6 overs later and 24 added, and a couple more wickets have fallen, so very good stuff.
They've bowled exceptionally in that period as well, but I'm still coming back to that 50-run partnership at the end. If you take away 50 runs from now, that's 57 runs needed of 13 overs. That's very doable. That 50 runs at the end, where they could have lost those 2 wickets at the end, 2-3 wickets at the end very quickly. I think we'll look back and that being the decisive moment in this game, I think.
Kirsty Gordon is in there and Franklin's in, and Gordon's trying to work that one round her front pad. It potters out into the leg side and there's no run. So again, another good over from Phoebe Franklin. 37 gone, 187 on the board for the loss of 5 wickets. And at some point you feel Bryce is going to have to take a little bit of a gamble. Yeah, that came together, didn't they? Jones and Moore when Shatley was out. 21, 237 for 8 that was in the 43rd, and then the last over when Moore went, 287 for 9. So vital runs. This is Capsey again, coming in from the football ground training end, and Catherine Bryce is turning that one out into the leg side. Will pick up a single.
I think we said every different possible way of saying it.
Absolutely.
The football ground end, the football training ground end, the Crystal Palace end, the football Crystal Palace training
ground end.
It doesn't flow off.
The end behind where I'm sat, could call it that.
The lawnmower end.
Yes, the lawnmower. I've got a headache. Kirsty Gordon then on strike here to Alice Capsey, and Gordon drives as Capsey floats that one up outside the off stump. Emma Jones comes around to her left to do the fielding. There's no run. Capsey in once again. This one's turned leg side. Quick singles taken to try and get Bryce back onto strike, which is exactly what happened. So Kirsty Gordon is off the mark with a single. Bryce will come back onto strike on 78. Very good runs these from Catherine Bryce, but sort of responsibility is getting bigger and bigger at the moment as Capsey's into her, and Bryce can't get this away. Pushes that one out towards backward point. There is no run. Over the wicket once again comes Capsey. Driving is Bryce, but that did turn and bounce because that's hit her on the glove actually. Almost punched that to extra cover. That delivery from Alice Capsey. Capsey comes wandering in once more. Over the wicket she goes, and this one's cut by Bryce straight out to cover point, and there is no run. So again, Capsey whistles through the over, just 2 off it. 38 gone, 189 for 5 now. Catherine Bryce is on 78. Kirsty Gordon has 1. Very nice evening now. What day of the week is it today?
It's Friday.
It's a Friday, is it? So it'll be busy tonight, won't it? Friday night with the sun out. Wheeling out the old barbecue again this evening. I won't be, but I'm sure many will.
I'm just thinking what to do for dinner. Whether to...
Be my standard bowl of fruit and fibre and St Alpin.
You do?
Gorgeous. Keeps me going. Bryony Smith back into the attack. Do you want this end, Alex?
Yeah, sorry, I'm
that's
dipping
fine. You're
in now
doing
with
it. Yeah, that's
writing
fine.
as well. But
You
yeah,
tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, that's top edge just over the keeper. They get away with it. Yeah, so I just realised I was quite behind on writing.
You
so
keep going, old boy.
I was going to just jump in with irrelevant conversation every so often.
Okay.
But I'll do the odd end when I look up. I'll
Okay,
just go,
my friend. When you look up,
one.
lovely,
But
very good.
I do Bryony Smith again from this end. Off spin. That's worked into the leg side. It should just be the one, and it will just be the one.
Again, though, singles absolutely fine from a South East Stars point of view.
Exactly, and this is obviously Bryony Smith coming back into the attack that she bowled earlier on. Bowled 7 overs before this for 25 runs, 1 for 25.
Great spell of bowling from Phoebe Franklin, though.
It was. I'm guessing they're saving her back. Still got 4 left. She'll be saved up for the end. That's down the leg side from Bryony Smith. Bryony Smith's 7 overs, 1 for 25 was also exceptional. She got the wicket of Sarah Bryce, who probably looked the most fluent of the Lightning batters. So that's outside off stump, but pulled away into the leg side. Again, the sweeper out there is well positioned. Grace Gibbs for a single. So where about 5 overs ago singles would have been alright when they could have gone at sixes, they got bogged down, couldn't get those singles. Boundaries weren't coming either, so that's gone for a boundary. She's gone up for an appeal, and Neil Mallon's just eating his fingernails.
Biting his nails. I thought he was putting his finger up, but he's just biting his nails. He's nervous.
Just checking his cuticles.
Nervous is umpire Mallender.
Yeah, he's seen it all, hasn't he, Neil Mallender? He's seen everything twice. There's Bryony Smith in again. That's a full delivery, and it's hacked into the leg side, and it's only going to be 1 run. Again, not enough. To find a way of boundaries, and I mean, looking up, where are the boundary options?
Well, the thing is, you've got to make your own pace out of all of this, as well as a batter.
You've almost got to go in and out over cover, really, and that's straight back at the bowler. Say there's have to try it. That's the end of the over, but you have to try and get it past fine leg or third. They're the two options if you can get it just past them. Otherwise, to generate power, you've got to go over mid-off.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to go inside out to Bryony Smith, and the problem with that is if it does bounce on you, it doesn't turn, then you're in trouble. So
they've closed off every boundary option. Just looking around again now, that the leg side, 2 boundary riders on the leg side, about 3 with long on coming up as well. I mean, that's good for a single, potentially a 2 if you time it well, but that you need at this rate, at this stage, just an over, exactly 100 to win now. That's a boundary. You need a boundary at the very least, probably 2, more often than not. And so
yeah, Alice Davidson-Richards coming back into the attack now. So picked up the first wicket to fall. This is the 40th over. Catherine Bryce on strike to Davidson-Richards. Slower ball first up from Alice Davidson-Richards. Bryce moves on to 81. I make that now for Bryce. 195 for 5.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Excellent. That is good news.
High score of the day? No, Bryony's just got 84.
Kirsty Gordon settles over her bat once again.
I mean, she's someone who, during the T20s, was hitting a big ball at the end of an innings. Someone who, if you're looking for boundaries, she's potentially there.
Davidson-Richards is in, right up on the toes, and just tucked into the leg side by Gordon. Just a single again, though. 196 now on the board. 196 for 5. Just a reminder that target's 294. Now, without that 50-run partnership at the end, 244, they would still be very much on target. As over the wicket once again is Davidson-Richards. That's very wide outside the off stump. Wide will be the signal. We've had a few of those today. And 197 for 5.
14th of the innings, 14th wide.
Of this innings.
Right. I think there was 11 in the first.
So 25 wides overall. So that's an extra 4 overs of cricket today as Alice Davidson-Richards comes in over the wicket, and this one swung up the ground. And just a single here for Catherine Bryce. Move on to 82. 198 for 5. Yeah, when you say it like that, you realise, don't you? 4 extra overs during the game due to wides.
I saw Sunrisers earlier, about 40 extras in one game, and that really did 10 overs. That's what did them in quite a few games. I think probably against South East Stars were one of those games.
Kirsty Gordon pulling into the leg side, doesn't really get much of this. Grace Gibbs will come round to do the fielding, gets the throw away quickly over the top of the stumps. That'll be 1 more to the total. Gordon moves on to 4.
Another result to bring you from the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy, I've noticed. Northern Diamonds have beaten Western Storm by 7 wickets.
Right.
So you've got the table in front of you, you can tell me.
Oh, blimey.
If Diamonds probably third.
About. Diamonds were second on 13 as shout for LBW going down the leg side as looking to pull that was Graves.
So the top 2 both winning today then. with
yes,
Vipers
indeed.
winning already.
That's what you want, isn't it? Bryce there, 200 up, I think.
I think it should be.
Yeah, 200 up. So another 94 required by the Lightning.
Looks like third place Sparks should win as well.
As Gordon, we're going to miss. Took all the pace off that Alice Davison Richards. So 40 overs gone, 200 for 5. The Lightning here on the Surrey live stream needing another 94 off 10. So we're creeping up that run rate, now up to 9.4 and over. Slowly creeping up and doing a very good job here. The South East Stars. Catherine Bryce will be on strike. There's a punch of gloves between Gordon and Bryce. But they're going to have to take a punt in a minute, aren't they? Going to have to take a gamble.
Exactly. Stars are the informed team across the regional cricket that don't have lost since beginning of July.
Here is Bryony Smith, and this one's turned by Bryce into the leg side. Wants two, will only get one. Gibbs up again quickly. Grace Gibbs going from deep mid-wicket to deep mid-wicket here. 201 on the board now.
So when they lost the Vipers here, while Lightning haven't won a game since penultimate round of the Rachael Heyhoe as well. So you just see the confidence between the two teams as well.
Gordon is looking to turn leg side. Hits the side guard, does it? Or is that wide? Oh, it's another wide. So actually get two there because they've run the single as well. So 203 now for 5. Bryony Smith is in. That's quicker, and looking to run it down to third man was Bryce. Got nothing on it. Nicely taken by Chatley. Moving away to her right hand side. Bryony Smith in again, and Bryce drives this one up towards mid-off. We'll just take a single. Bryce moves on to 84. 204 now for 5. Kirsty Gordon back on to strike again with 4 to her name. Bryony Smith is in. Gordon's forward, just nudges this into the leg side. Now they could get 2 here with the deep mid wicket, but Grace Gibbs is really quick. Gets up very quickly, and the throw as well. Hits the stumps, and they're all safely home. So that's another single for Kirsty Gordon. She's on to 5. Brings Bryce back onto strike on 84 here. Played very well, but sort of been left on her own a touch as Bryony Smith is in another wide down the leg side. Cool, we might be approaching 5 overs of extra cricket today. Bryony Smith is in once more. This is tossed up. Bryce drives down the ground. That's nicely timed. Long on will get round, and that's Alice Davison Richards. He does very well indeed. But they'll pick up a couple more. It takes Bryce on to 86 now. 208 for 5. So our highest individual score of the day from Catherine Bryce. Waits once more as Bryony Smith's into, and she turns this one into the leg side. They'll hammer the first. They're going to look for 2. They're coming back for it this time. Oh, Bryce could be in trouble here. Bryce has run out. That's a lovely bit of work from Grace Gibbs. Bryce trying to come back for the second and has gone for a really well made 87, but what a lovely piece of work that was from Grace Gibbs as well. And that will be 209 for 6. And Bryce, you feel that's the game. Run out there by Gibbs. Lovely throw. One bounce straight over the top of the stumps. And Bryce, I make that 86. Yep. And 209 for 6 in the 41st over. But great bit of work that from Grace Gibbs.
Actually, would that be 87 with it coming back for the second?
87,
so,
yes, indeed.
I just felt that as well. I think those 2 balls, the fielding both times, that Alice Davison Richardson on the far side sliding to keep the ball in there. You saw 3 or 4 of the Stars players really give a big clap towards that. And then we saw just straight after Grace Gibbs produced a really good piece of fielding to run out Catherine Bryce. So,
Yep.
so talk about the bowling, but say the fielding's been pretty good this afternoon as well. There's been the odd misfield here and there, but I think it put that down to skidding off a damp surface more often than not.
Yeah, lovely bit of work from Grace Gibbs. So it's going to be Alice Davidson-Richards.
Should be Yvonne Graves now.
To continue down to our left. Davidson-Richards. This is slower ball. That's a lovely bit of bowling. And took all the pace off that.
That's such a good
did Alice Davidson-Richards. About 15 shots played at that. And in the end, it's one bounce and into the gloves of Chatley, moving away to her right-hand side. I don't think Gordon knew which shot to play there. Gordon waiting once again. As Davidson-Richards down the leg side, be a wide signal. It's Munro actually up at the non-strikers end.
Because they put her in at 11 because when they changed the scorecard, didn't they? Came in late, so she's put it at the bottom. Handy batter from memory. Sophie Monroe.
Got a bit of work to do here. Alice Davidson-Richards turning once again. Comes in over the wicket. And this is another slower ball, which is chipped in the air by Gordon just in front of cover point. And they'll pick up 2. So that'll be 2 more to the total, 2 more to Gordon. She moves on to 7. 212. For 6, we're in the 42nd over at the moment.
We are, yes.
Yeah, 42nd over.
Too many numbers, isn't there? Too many numbers in cricket.
Yes, there are.
What would you do? Go down to 100 balls?
Oh. Yeah, well, they've already done that. As Alice Davidson-Richards comes in over the wicket once again to Gordon, who's driving, but this has gone straight back up the pitch. Davidson-Richards does the fielding off her own bowling, and there is no run. Kalia Moore there. Vital innings from her today, as we were both saying. 39 she made. Very important runs. That 50-run partnership has made all the difference here. Alice Davidson-Richards in again to Gordon. That's a good shot. Cut, but lovely bit of work from Cranston. So quick round to her left. And there is no run because it's beautifully timed that by Gordon, but Cranston very quickly round to her left to do the fielding. March is back towards us once more, does Alice Davidson-Richards. And will now come over the wicket to Gordon. And Gordon's tucking this one off her pads down into the leg side, and we'll pick up a single. 213 on the board now. 294 that target. And Munro out there in the middle, getting ready for her first delivery. Grace Gibbs out there at deep mid-wicket. Kalia Moore being brought up to mid-on, and fine leg being pushed down to the boundary rope. And they're going to get Kirsty White down to the third man and bring Phoebe Franklin up to the edge of the circle at cover now. Munro ready for her first ball. Oh, it's a short one from...
Very well.
Yeah, she has, and she's opened the face and guided it off down towards third man. We'll get back for 2. You can see it was the effort ball from Alice Davidson-Richards, and picks up 2 runs, but it's the end of the over. So another one ticks by. 42 gone now. 8 remaining, and the Lightning are 215 for 6. So they need another 79 off 8 overs. Big old ask that, really is, with 2 fairly fresh batters at the crease. I'd have thought Johan Myberg is pleased with the way the South East Stars have gone about this.
I think all the way through, the way they batted at the top, I think Bryony Smith would get, you know what you're going to get from Bryony Smith, but for her to bat like she did, and also Capsy the way both of those did, scoring at least both over 100 strike rate, that's really a start.
It's Capsy again.
Rolls, yes, Capsy, and it's gone up to hit up to long on. say pretty much everything in the game's gone right for the Stars, other than that little period where they got a bit stuck against the spin. But everything else today has really sort of worked in their favour. They were patient with the ball, that even while Lightning was scoring at quite good rate, they knew they could pull it back.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't panicked at any point so far today.
It's a sign of just a really good side, a really good side, full of confidence as well. Is Capsey, and again, talking of confidence, push back to her. I mean, this could be been an easy game to lose if they hadn't got those 50 runs at the end. If they hadn't got those 50 runs, they'd have come out downbeat. Started out slower and wouldn't have got it back as well. Comes down the track, takes a couple of steps and pushes it to point. 2 dot balls in a row from Capsey. Munro's trying to be aggressive, but it's got the mindset of trying to be aggressive, but just can't get the body to. Once the ball's out of the hand, it's very, very difficult. Judge says. Again, she tries to drive that with a bit of power. A little bit of a stutter, but they take a single in the end. It's that Kirsty White pinging the ball at Alice Capsey when click my finger. It was just an easy single there. Everyone was happy with it, other than Kirsty White by the looks of things. Capsey in again with a off spin. Looks a bit round arm that. Almost a weird little delivery. That sort of came out sort of
something
side of
different.
Arm, yeah.
She bowls a couple of those, and a couple of just been wides down the leg side. It's almost like an undercutter.
Yeah, it's the way it's almost getting under slices sort of thing. And this time it's a more conventional ball. It's hit up towards long on and just one bounce into Alice Davidson Richards' pocket almost there. She took that, and that's the end of the 43 overs. 43 overs down, 218 for 6. That was a complete mess, wasn't it? Shall I try that again?
Go on, old boy.
So 43 overs done, 218 for 6, 76 required from 42 balls.
That's not going to happen. That's the other thing here. That's not going to happen. So you sort of know what the result of this game's going to be now.
I guess with two teams who are in a similar position in the table, there's net run rate and stuff, that both teams will still be quite important, especially with the top 3 all winning today as well, or Central Stark were looking like they're on track.
You feel almost like whoever lost this game today, that's it for them really in the comp. But as long as you win today, you're still in with a shout. As Grace Gibbs is into the attack from the football ground training end.
Crystal Palace
training end, whichever one you want. As Gibbs is in, and down the legs, another wide. That will be one area that I think both coaches will look at. The amount of wides we've had today.
The frustrating for Stars is most of these wides have come when the game's been pretty much won, that they've really got a grasp of the game. That's when sort of Claridge and Grays were getting out at that little period there. That's when the wides have come, and that's what I think would be slightly disappointing, that they're in a really good position. I mean, they're not giving the game away, but to see out the game.
219 on the board, as this one's whipped into the leg side by Gordon, out there to deep mid-wicket. Clear Moore comes up to do the fielding, 220. Well, all I would say is it's hard enough winning a game of cricket without adding 4 overs to it. So that'll definitely be something I'm sure that they'll talk about. As Grace Gibbs, over the wicket she comes, and this is turned neatly and tidily into the leg side by Munro.
It felt kind of sort of needless wide as well, sort of. Not when you've.
Well, it's that old adage, isn't it? When you drop catches, it's tough enough taking 10 wickets. You drop 3 catches, you have to take 13. It's even harder. Gordon back onto strike on 10. Gibbs is into. Well, that was outside the off stump. I thought that was down the leg side
as well.
She tried to flick that into the leg side, and it hasn't really bounced. I think that missed her off stump. No wonder there was some oohs and ahs.
And I think it was down leg side. I think it might have just flicked her pad, if anything, or it's about that far away from the leg stump, almost bowled down there. But very strange not to have given a wide if there wasn't a little bit of contact.
Gibbs is in again, and this one is turned by Gordon down towards short fine. She'll take a single. So this is all happening in singles at the moment. 222 for 6 now. Lightning in this their 44th over. Problem they have is 294 is the target. But again, what, as Alex said, take 50 off with that partnership. 244, very different game of cricket this. That's another slower ball from Gibbs, and it's just pushed into the offside. You know, going into the last 4 overs needing just 6 overs needing just 22.
Favourites.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even if the partnership was only 30 or 20 or 30, you'd still feel slightly closer. It was about 7-8 overs they scored. Yep. They scored quickly as well. And
Jones and Moore that was. As this is swung high in the air. Now Grace Gibbs is putting her name on it. Oh, it was a very difficult one. It was up there for a very, very long time. They have taken a single, and that'll be one more to the total, but it was up there a long time, and we've just seen what a good fielder Grace Gibbs is with that run out, so it always hurts even more if it's off your own bowling.
I think she thought it was going slightly further back. She didn't sort of get round, as she almost seemed to be stuck in sort of her follow through, thinking that someone was running in, and then all of a sudden realised it sort of was moving back towards her, with the wind going across in that direction. I'm guessing it hit the wind, and she had to very quickly try and get into position, and didn't quite get into the right position. But
well, it's 6 to go. 2, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Right, sunglassed Alice Capsey comes in again. That's a big sweep by Munro into the leg side. They should get 2 there. They need to push. Nope, she's been told to go back by Kirsty Gordon. Which probably second there, but Gordon, I mean, if they're going to have any chance of winning this, they're going to really tee off now, which seems very, very unlikely. Gordon's the one you think would be more likely to be able to do it. She just lets that go down leg sides. Capsey again sort of just rolls her eyes back, knowing that not where she wanted to roll. It's up to 20 now for the Stars. That's wide balls. It's Capsey again. Hit in the air. Catch chance. Gone through the hands of Long On. He was there. Ooh. And it's gone for 6. She's hit the ball pretty sweetly, but I think it's Alice Davison Richards it is down there. It was in the game. She's quite tall. It just went through her hands, just slightly too high for her to really get under, and she doesn't look too happy with it either. That's 6, and that woke you up a little bit, didn't it, Churchy? Comes again. She goes for a big heave again into the leg side, and there's a fielder, Grace Gibbs, out there watching the spin all the way.
You need a few more of those, but that was a nicely struck shot down the ground for 6. It's our first maximum of the game, I think.
There was one earlier in the innings. Sarah Bryce got one in about second. I didn't see it, but I remember looking back and I didn't see that. That's tucked into the leg side. I think I was writing at the time, had my head down, and do not remember it at all. But I'm sure it was a very good shot from Sarah Bryce, as pretty much everything else we saw from her was pretty exceptional today. Read that for both Bryony Smith and Alice Capsey, who both got 50s in the first half of this game. That's a top edge over the keeper. Sort of tried to scoop it into leg side, and it's got top edge over the keeper, and they're going to come back for 2 runs here as Danny Gregory sort of doesn't quite pick it up cleanly and knocks it back to Grace Gibbs, who it's not Grace Gibbs.
You can see why she said, "I'm keeping the strike here." Gordon.
She can hit a ball for quite a small girl.
2-2.
She's swung that into the leg side, but that's only going to be 1 this time. Yeah, we've seen it before that she can hit a ball a long way and can change games, but whether she could change this one looks very, very unlikely. 58 now needed off 30 balls.
Yeah, that's a tough ask.
Tough ask.
Especially with sort of the boundaries having been so few and far between the last few overs. Yes, we had the 6, but not that many.
No. So 58 from 30, if this was maybe a T20 game with sort of a ball which has been harder for longer and things like that, and boundaries in slightly shorter from here, you say game on, but all the conditions here, long boundaries, bowling's been pretty tight in this last spell. You'd have to say this. If they were to get this would be quite remarkable.
Effort.
Be
So Gordon's on strike here to Grace Gibbs, and that's a nice shot. That's just threaded between backward point and third man. It's going to run away down towards the boundary. The chase is on. Are they going to just take two? They are. They take two more, but nicely placed.
The boundary down there has really slowed up, hasn't it? Earlier on today there was one which went down there which absolutely flew to the boundary from just guiding it.
So Gordon's on to 24 here. 46 over. Gibbs is in to her. Down the leg side. Wide will be the signal again. 239 now for 4. Hanging in there. A lightning. Thanks to Kirsty Gordon really here with 24. And just that 6 has given them a little bit of an impetus charge really. Grace Gibbs places the ball in her right hand. There's Gordon going this time. Backs away and then just pops it out into the offside. They'll take the single. They'll move Gordon on to 25. 240 now on the board. So another 54 required by Lightning. Monroe comes back onto strike once again, and as Gibbs comes over the wicket to Monroe, and Monroe drives. That's a good looking shot. Half a hand on it from Bryony Smith, takes pace off it. They'll get back for 2 here. That was a good looking shot. So 2 more to Sophie Monroe. She moves on to 8. 242 for 6. And that was struck powerfully by Monroe. Made a lovely noise off the middle of her bat. Gibbs over the wicket again to Monroe, and Monroe's picked this up. Oh, sweetly. Whips it leg side for 4. That's a lovely shot from Sophie Monroe. Nothing more than a roll of the wrists. And that has whistled away for 4 runs.
Are we seeing the Lightning version of Jones and Kalia Moore?
Well, absolutely. These 2 innings have sort of measured each other run for run, over for over, haven't they? Amazing, really.
The passage of play has been so similar. It's uncanny, really.
Over the wicket once again then comes Grace Gibbs, and this is turned by Monroe into the leg side. We'll just take a single on this occasion. 247.
38 this partnership now off 29 balls.
Very good. Very, very good. Just looking again after 46, 249. The South East Stars are on.
They're 247.
Yeah, there's not a lot in this. As Gibbs is over the wicket again, and this is driven straight back to her by Kirsty Gordon, and there is no run, so there's not a huge amount in this at all. 247 then, and the Stars at this point, as we were saying, the Stars were on 249. So there's just 2 runs in it at the moment, but there was that partnership developing between Moore and Jones, but now we've got this partnership developing between Gordon and Monroe, so all very interesting this now.
Similar players as well. Monroe, a big tall fast bowler coming in, who usually bowls fast, who's coming in swinging, and the slightly shorter spin bowler at the other end scoring runs as well. That is,
yeah, it's good stuff, this. It really is.
Capsey coming in again. That's teed into the leg side. Fielder out there is going to do it. They can look for 2, but again, Kirsty Gordon happy with just the 1 and wants to take on Capsey herself. She's currently 8.1 overs, 1 for 51. I don't think she's done a complete job. I know that her first couple of overs with the new ball didn't go too well, but I think she's bowled very well since she came back. Part of the reason, that's a wide ball though, part of the reason the Stars have got themselves in this position where they should win, but as we're just saying, you know what happened in the first inning of the game. It's 46 needed off 23 balls still. Big hit, that's straight to Alice Davidson-Richardson, and this time she catches it. Kirsty Gordon has taken that shot on one too many times. Last time it went just over the fielder's head at long on, and this time it's an easy catch for Alice Davidson-Richardson, and Alice Capsey has her girl.
Yeah, absolutely. And thought she had her in the last over, but that's been a good innings, 25 from Gordon. But good time to get that wicket from a Star's point of view. 2:49 for 7. We're in the 47th over now. And Gordon was looking very dangerous there, but makes her way back towards the Lightning players, all sat on chairs just beyond the boundary rope watching away, but kept it interesting there, did Gordon. Good innings.
40 partnership that was as well, which is really impressive. 24 runs, and Munro's still there, 15 off 13, but say while Gordon was still there, you started to think potentially this could start to go, and then now it feels again like the Stars have got that wind viz up to 90-95% at the very least.
Yvonne Graves, the new batter.
She's not on strike. It's Munro who swings that into the leg side, and they'll just get 1 run. Graves with the bright pink pads on, like a twin sister. While Munro's got the darker red coloured ones. Matches the helmet rather than the pink. Here comes Alice Capsey again with her off spin. Big sweep into the leg side by Graves, Yvonne Graves. And just the 1 run. She hit that hard, but straight to Grace Gibbs out there. The hog roast is being put away now, so any late stragglers missed out on that. Bunted back down the ground by Munro for another single. Still another ball to go in this over. It feels like the game's really settled down again, really sort of lost that momentum which felt like it was kind of building. That's down leg side, might have come off the pad. Let's see what the umpire says. McLennan gives it as leg byes, and that is the end of the 47th over. 252 for 7, but more importantly, still 41 needed with 3 overs to go, 18 balls.
Yeah. So Alice Davison-Richards looks like she's coming back into the attack now from this football training ground end of the ground, and Grace Gibbs there coming towards us. That lovely bit of fielding from Grace Gibbs. Big moment, that throw which was straight over the top of the stumps, and Sarah Bryce run out for 87. Catherine Bryce, apologies, run out for 87. So Alice Davison-Richards with her 48th over, 253 for 7. Coming in, and there's a swing and a miss straight away by Graves. It's a nice slower ball that from Alice Davison-Richards. Graves settles down over her bat once more. Target's 41 runs away for Lightning at the moment as Davison-Richards is in and swung into the leg side. Graves will get a single here. Well, they're coming back for 2. It's good running, really good running from Graves. Gets back for 2, 255. Now for 7. Graves. Well, there might be sisters' pads, I don't know, but they're very bright.
Hand-me-downs.
Very, very bright. As she waits again as Davison-Richards is into her, and she's trying to cut this, but it goes straight back up the pitch, and Davison-Richards does the fielding off her own bowling. There goes the coffee shop as well, down behind the van being driven out of the ground. At the moment they're taking down the hog roast tent as well. So everything being dismantled at the moment. Davison-Richards is over the wicket to Graves again, and Graves swing and a miss. Again, slower ball from Alice Davison-Richards, trying to sling that over mid-wicket, and got nothing on it at all, and it was 1 bounce into the gloves of Chatley, moving away to her right hand side. There's been a lot of good cricket on show today. Great pitch this one again, as over the wicket comes Davison Richards to Graves, who's pulled this one straight up the ground. Will get a single. 256 now on the board. Graves moves on to 4 because we've had over 500 runs, so that's what you want for a one-day game.
It's been a bit for the bowlers as well, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's been really important, that if you're going to have a run fest, you want a bit of spin or a bit of bounce or whatever, and this has been a really good pitch. And really just shows off the women's game as well.
Absolutely. There's another slower ball from Alice Davison Richards, and well, Munro there played about 8 shots at that again, and it bounced once into the gloves of Chatley. So end of the over, 48 gone. So we've only got 2 to go now here on the Surrey live stream. Just 3 off that Davison Richards over. Target's 294, 256 for 7. It looks like it's going to be Bryony Smith to bowl the 49th over from the town end. And they need something absolutely monumental now. It's going to be Graves on strike. That's Bryony Smith round the wicket to Graves. Bowls her! Looking for the big one. Had to, really. And looking for the big one down the ground. And good bowling again from Bryony Smith. Just tossed it up there. It was the tempter. And Graves had to play the big shot at this stage. 256 for 8 it is now in this, the 49th over. But it's been a good performance this from South East Stars. But that crucial partnership, Kalia Moore and Emma Jones, 50 made, well, look at the scores, made all the difference there at the back end of the innings. As Graves makes her way off on this Friday evening at Beckenham. It's been a lot to admire today. Lots of good shots and cracking fielding. Awful lot of wides we've had today. It probably, when you look at it, because we might go 100 overs here, it'll actually turn out to be a 108 over game in a way. Ballinger out there in the middle, left-handed. Bryony Smith just adjusting her field. So there's going to be a long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. Sweeper on the cover rope of the 4 that are out. Side the circle. 11 balls left. Bryony Smith comes round the wicket to Ballinger, who's swung this one down the ground, and that's away for 4. It's a nice shot to get started from Ballinger. Just swung that one straight down the ground and away for 4. 260 now for 8. Storm's getting up now. Tent's about to blow over. There's maybe a thunderstorm on its way, because that was a fairly strong gust of wind that went through the tent. Ballinger's down the pitch again, and that hits the pads as he's trying to swing that one into the leg side. Bryony Smith comes up to do the fielding off her own bowling, and there is no run. Bryony Smith in once again. Ballinger swinging into the leg side. Will pick up 1. Going to come back for the second. They are, but there's hesitation. Ballinger could be in trouble. Ballinger is run out.
No.
No, has she not taken the ball cleanly? No. I thought Chatley had the ball in her hands, but it's gone through her hands. And she didn't have the ball when she demolished the stumps. So they'll get 2 more there. 262. For all the world, it looked like Ballinger's innings was over. But Chatley, on the half volley, couldn't pick the ball up cleanly, as Bryony Smith is into Ballinger again, who drives in the air, will go this time. Caught at extra cover. Hamish Cranston it is that takes the catch. So Ballinger's innings comes to an end, and the Lightning now 9 down. Cranston with the catch. Bryony Smith had another good game. 3 wickets for the captain, and runs as well, but Ballinger had to obviously go for it at that stage. 262 for 9, just One to come now.
So probably a good time to ask you, who's your man of the match?
Ooh.
There's quite a few candidates.
I'm never very good at this stuff, to be honest with you. Well, I think you'd have to. Bryony Smith, having picked up 3 wickets as well as scoring 84 runs and getting them off to a very, very good start. But then the key thing really was Moore's innings of 39. So what I'm trying to say is I don't know.
No,
really difficult. I wouldn't want to have to make that decision. I'm Mark. Analyst
great.
Mark.
I mean, they don't win the game without an analyst, do they?
Player of the match. There you are, you see. Brilliant.
He knew what was going to happen before it happened, didn't
Brilliant
he?
from him, away to our right-hand side. But yeah, no, really difficult. If there was one, it'd be a really difficult decision for whoever to make. It's normally someone in the media, isn't it, who has to make that decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had to lead on someone, obviously, at the top of to put us sort of in the intro. I've gone with Alice Capsey just because it's a higher score and it sort of makes it all goes together quite nicely.
Well,
but
Groves is out there and is off the mark straight away to her first ball, tucking this one down into the leg side. One more to the total. I think it's also the fact the end of the over as well. The fact that Bryony Smith, captaining, has picked up wickets as well, got them off to a good start. Won the toss. She seemed happier about that than she would about this win. Actually, to be fair. So 1 over to go. 263 for 9. It means that the Lightning need 31 off the last over. It'll be bowled by Alice Davidson Richards. Actually, I'm not going to give it to Mark. He's won enough already.
Yeah.
Groves takes her guard out there in the middle. No, I wouldn't want to make that decision today.
No, I think you're right.
The big cardboard check.
Bryony Smith would be my pick.
Alice Davidson Richards in with our last over, and it's another wide. We have had a lot of wides today. 264 now on the board. So we have had an awful lot of extras today. I suppose mixing it up, slower balls, all that good stuff, it can happen. Groves settles over her bat once again. Davidson Richards is in, and Groves cuts that one down to Cranston at backward point. Quick singles taken, and Groves gets herself off the mark.
I think the other point with the wides is that if you win the game, you forget about them pretty quickly. That you obviously have them.
I'm not sure. Not that sure.
No,
you'll completely forget
about them. But I mean, you've won the game. That they haven't cost you the game in that way.
Could have done. Could
easily have done. But I mean, they haven't in this situation. But next week,
Davidson Richards is in, and this is a slower ball, and that's just swung into the leg side and is caught eventually at deep mid wicket, and that is the end of the game. I think there was a bit of confusion there because that Alice Capsey, I think, winded herself taking that catch as well, but in the end Munro swung it into the air. It's caught by Capsey. It means all out for 265 the Lightning, and that is victory for the South East Stars by, if my maths is correct, 28 runs. So it's a good win for the Stars, that, and a very good game of cricket all round, and lots to admire today. But I think Stars deserve it, and it keeps them in touching distance, does it not, Mr. Smith?
It does. Well,
they've still got a chance, I think. They've still got a chance.
If Sparks win today, then they're obviously going to the top 3 will all have won today. But they're keeping
themselves in there.
Keep themselves in there. And
well, Alex, I'll leave you to it, sir, because you've got typing to do. So thank you very much indeed for your company. Loved every minute of it. Thank you. No, absolute pleasure. You crack on with your typing, and thank you for joining us here on the Surrey live stream. So the news today is the South East Stars have beaten Lightning by 28 runs from us all this evening here at the County Ground in Beckenham. It's a very good night to one and all.